summit. Can you please introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Sidney Paris, so I'm the founder and CEO of YOOLINK. And before that, I was former co-founder and CEO of Weborama. So YOOLINK is a spin-off of Weborama, which is a listed company in France, actually. And we're still part of the Weborama group. Mm-hmm. Okay. And when I launched YOOLINK as a company in 1998, Sebastien joined us at the very, very beginning of this adventure.
So I was one of the first person to join the project, and my name is Sebastien. I'm in charge of business development, so acquiring new customers, but also deploying our solution in our customers.
Can you please position YOOLINK a little bit? So there are two versions, YOOLINK and YOOLINK Pro. So YOOLINK Pro is for the enterprises. So please.
Exactly. At the very beginning, there was we start with the free services, which is mostly a social bookmarking service, which is free. You can still use it. But from the very beginning, we had a target to launch a professional version of the service, which is now a full, complete social network for companies. Okay, so the idea is to target company from 50 people to a few thousand people of users. Okay, it's and to provide the social networking tool and news feed and things like that.
Who are the usual customers of YOOLINK Pro, and what are their objectives of using YOOLINK Pro?
So we have there's not really a typical customer for YOOLINK. We usually are found for three reasons. The first one is to bring a corporate culture reason, bringing some link between people working in the same company. The other case is to help people that are spread over different offices to actually work together as a team, so making collaboration a bit easier. And the third one would be loose knowledge management. Right now, it's like 90% of the knowledge that is used within the company that is actually found online. So we help people gather that information, centralize it, augment it, comment it, bring internal information, etc. So, knowledge management.
To make a point on that, social network, corporate social network, it's kind of media, it's a communication tool. Okay? So just like a phone, you can do a lot of different things with your phone. Okay? You can call your family, you can work with it, you can make business, you can get information. So a social network is something like that. It's a tool that helps you doing some different things. We had a breakfast with our customers a few months ago, and that was very interesting in the way that nobody was using the social network in the same way. And so there was good use case, but it's before everything else, it's a way to communicate.
So anyway, so we're really strong right now in the media industry. So we practically have major players in every step of the media industry. We have like Avast, TBWA, Lagardère, Monitor, etc. But then we have other kind of companies. We have like companies in the banking industry, in the retail industry, in the service industry. We have large companies, small companies. As Sunny said, we are, I think, one of the key solutions for companies or teams between 50 to a couple of thousand people.
So, but you position yourself still as an enterprise social network.
Yes, yeah, and only that. So we do not want to do CRM or to do electronic data management. We are a pure social software solution for the enterprise.
What is your take on the critics about enterprise social networking? Because there is always, especially in France, because I just wrote a recent article about that social networking is a strong entry point to the 2.0 sphere in France, because you want people being connected at first place, and then there's still always very fast the critics coming up about to be too social and too less productive for the tool, to generate too less value for the company. So what is your take on this?
There's several things. First of all, a few years ago it was really true. So when we were seeing people, okay, we are just like a Facebook for the enterprise. What?
People used to laugh at us. Yeah. Literally. Haha, I have a job. I don't have time for you.
And now they call us and say, well, we want something just like a Facebook for the enterprise. So there's been a change. And actually, we didn't face too much this problematic of being too social, too lazy. The main problem is how do we make our company collaborative, and how people join this social network, and how do they contribute to the social network? Actually, the CEO of the companies want their co-workers to use it to share their experience. So they think it's a great way to boost productivity and to make a team spirit.
There's been a quote, I really like that quote, from Constance Benquet, that's the CEO of Lagardère Publicité, and during one of our first meetings, she said if we manage to make people actively use YOOLINK Pro, then we will have created team spirit, we would have made people proud of belonging to Lagardère. And I think that's what we're talking about. We're talking about collaboration, but we're also talking about making some people feel part of the team, which means less turnover, less hiring costs, more retention, more effectiveness when you're at work, etc. So I don't think
we're still on this, so well, on this more above the flow aspects of enterprise. It's more about identification with the company and a better feeling about my work, and therefore being more productive. Not supporting directly the business process.
It depends. Most of the case, it's information flows. So it can be marketing is information that is flowing, company internal information, human resources information. But you have also some teams. We have some customers where the commercial teams have private space where they collaborate and they discuss really business. So here we are in direct workspace. Okay.
So this collaboration is mostly ad hoc collaboration. So leaving some business processes because there are some problems that cannot be solved within the process and needs to be solved by collaborating.
In that particular case, they have a CRM, okay? But what they exchange on the software, on our social software, is unofficial information. So information that you would not like to send by email, or would not like to write in your CRM, but that is really important to win like game, to win deals, like who has been nominated where, which budget is going to be free when, who's on the way to win the contract, what's the real need beneath the actual demand, those kind of stuff. So everything that is not official does not really have a channel in the company. And social software, they do.
The fact of microblogging is very strong for that because it's kind of unstructured. So it's both unstructured and centralized. So you can have a place where you have the information, you keep being notified about everything, and it's very easy to put the information on it.
So the key value you provide is the contextual information around the business process.
Exactly. I think that for a really long time, people thought that being productive was about managing tasks. You had like a list of staff, you used to tick them, and you used to allocate those tasks to the right people. That is one part of being productive, but that is not the whole thing. And getting the right information from the right person, the right moment, has some value, especially in economies like ours, where everything is about service and IDs and having the right kind of information. That's what we bring.
I think what Sebastien is very important. The to-do, okay, that's good. You have to do your job. But sometimes the biggest value comes from an idea. So you see something else and say, okay, that's very good for my company. We can do that also. Or we don't have to do that, and there is a problem, so we have to make a plan to rescue it or something like that. So it's the collision of information that sometimes make the great value. Okay. So maybe you don't see it as very productive each time, but sometimes it's a big win.
I have also an example still at Lagardère. Those guys 10 years ago, their job was to sell advertising on one media. You have the guy that was selling on newspapers, and the guy that was selling on radio, and the guy that was selling on TV. Right now, margins is coming from what they call cross media, the ability to send complex packages where it starts on the press and then goes on radio and finishes online. And training salespeople so they can sell those complex deals is not something that is easy. They use the social network, the internal social network, to spread the best use case, the ROI of the best use case, the customer they sign. And so progressively you're training people. So if you come in and say, what's the real turnover of the social network? It's really hard to quantify. But at the end of the day, if one guy that only used to sell press starts selling radio, it's also going to be thanks to the social tools.
Another example of this kind of value is on technical stuff. Okay, when you work on computer science or whatever you want, there has always been somewhere someone that has done the job for you before. Okay, so but you have to find this person. You have to know that this is existing. Okay, you can use Google, but sometimes with a corporate social network, you see other person, other coworker. They say, okay, that's great. Look at it. And at this moment, you can win something like 1 month of time because you have read these important articles. So it's not the same kind of productivity sometimes, but it's really efficient.
You talked earlier about, also later on about the Lagardère case, but you said that the CEO said she wants the social networking to be on the enterprise scale. Mm-hmm. So what are your experiences, also your advices on the adoption process? So is it better to go in the first place for the enterprise-wide adoption and place a solution for the whole enterprise, or start on the other hand more like a button up with maybe a small group of people and then letting it grow within the company? So what are your experiences? And
our experience is it's better to go for enterprise-wide deployment. Okay, but when we say enterprise-wide, we mean not necessarily if you have a too huge company with several brands which are very different, maybe not. But if you have one company like Lagardère, for example, is a good example because Lagardère is a very huge group. Lagardère's publicity is 1,000 people, so to do a deployment on Lagardère publicity at one time is a very good way to go, because you need to get the attention of the people. You need to show that the CEO is committed to the project and it is important for the company. So you have to make all the energies to come at the same time, and you can do it in enterprise-wide development.
Mm-hmm. There's a matter of threshold in social software. There's two thresholds. There's a number threshold and a time threshold. If you deploying your software as a pilot over too little a time, then people are going to think it's not serious, so they're not going to contribute and it's going to fail. If you deploy it among too few people, then you're not going to have everyone there, so you're going to get back to email as often as you can, so your project's going to fail. If you have too few people, or too limited a time, or too small a scope, then you're only going to be able to test the features. You will never be able to test social interaction.
Exactly, yeah.
So when we can, we go for the enterprise-wide deployment.
Sometimes we can't. So with some company where the direction is not yet willing to go to social network, so we have some customers that are growing from the bottom, okay, but we prefer the other way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, this is also a statement on your website. I just want to read it out. I read Enterprise 2.0 is not about lists and features, it's about adoption, and so is YOOLINK Pro. So, because the enterprise-wide adoption is always a big challenge. So how does your software provide this enterprise-wide adoption in the first place? Do you have any specific key points within this?
Yeah,
but we have one. Less is more.
Yeah. Now the main key point is the use of the social network should be totally intuitive. You don't have to ask yourself at the moment, how do I do that? No, it should be an evidence. So we work a lot on the design. One of the other co-founders is a design specialist, and the question is always that, how to make things very, very simple to use. We provide some functionality, but for the administration guys. But the idea is the user, everything must be very, very easy, and we are not about providing a very powerful feature like GED in French, but in English it's
electronic data management.
Electronic data management. We prefer to use other tools from the information systems. Okay, we provide very, very nice news feed, very nice directory with the people, and very easy to use and to share the information. So that's the way. Everything is very, very easy, very quick, and we have a lot of point of contact with the users. We contact them through the web interface, to desktop app, to a web mobile app, to an email digest. So we work on getting the right information going to the right person very easily without.
But talking about somehow like the digital workplace was a topic of our last night meetup here in Paris. We talked about that at one point we need some kind of universal portal we go to and where we get all the information of all the systems in our social universe. So, and you want to provide that.
Exactly. We want to be the start page of everyday work. So you have the link to all the other resources that you can use in the enterprise, a link to your CRM, a link to the place where you put your holidays, and all the stuff to do a wiki if you have a wiki.
But then it's also up to you to do all the integration parts to those other business applications.
Because sometimes integration can be only a link to the system. Okay. And on the other way, if you want to go further, we provide a full API, so you can connect all your other systems really easily to YOOLINK Pro.
What are your expectations on the Enterprise Tool Summit?
Well, I think that right now we have some of the best use case for Enterprise 2.0. We have, for example, we just had like a big article on Avast. We just signed TBWA. I think those cases need to be read by people that are interested in social software, and we want to push those cases. One of the reasons we're going to Enterprise 2.0 is because all the industry is going to be there. We want them to be exposed to the way social software are implemented in our biggest customer. We really want to get the attention because we think some of our customers are doing amazing stuff with social software, and it's not always the case. We want to push them forward. That's what we're looking for, attention for use cases, attention for our customers.